We'll never get it out now.
So certain are you? Always with you, what cannot be done. Hear you nothing that I say.
Master, moving stones around is one thing. This is totally different.
No different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
Alright, I'll give it a try.
No. Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
Good morning, guys. It's currently about 10:30, and I got to sleep in for a couple extra hours. I just wanted to do a catch-up video because I know it's been a little while and demonstrate some things I've been doing for my morning routine. And one of them has been this lovely fellow right here. His name is Peach. He's my neighbor's kitty, and he can't come in. He knows, or she knows, that she can't come in. Anyway, yeah, Peach, you have yourself a good day, okay? You have yourself a good day. Yeah, you have yourself a good day, buddy. Alright. Well, that's Totoro. I met him earlier with Josh. Apparently he's like the Japanese demon of death or something. You can only see him if you're gonna die. So every morning I calm down and I make a fruit smoothie. This morning Ashley has been so wonderful and pre-prepared some watermelon for me. So I just set the camera like so, somehow open that up, and I'm gonna start peeling some oranges, one orange and some mixed berry, and that'll be my smoothie. And that is what I use to take this lovely collection of supplements. So we've got the GABA 700, and usually I take that at night to help me relax. I've got some good old vitamin C, and I'm mega dose on these, so I'm taking 5,000 to 6,000 milligrams throughout the day, so that's usually over the course of 6 hours, something like that. You know, usually I miss it, so it's like 8 hours or something, but that's to really kickstart the immune system, flush things out. We got niacinamide, and I'm taking this as directed to help support my like sort of schizophrenic trust issues, because from smoking so much, my paranoia has taken root. And every once in a while I get these episodes where, even though I have complete trust for someone and their information, like this thing says it's to help the body promote metabolism, and so, you know, my numbskull brain doesn't comprehend how that helps me, besides the whole mind-body connection and, you know, the very strong correlation to diet and mental health and mood, etc. So, you know, trust, that's what it's all about. So moving on. We got some vitamin D. Usually I take a couple of those in the morning. You could replace these with just getting out in the sun. I got some B, all around good stuff for health. And we got some St. John's wort. It's helped me with my depression, stay relaxed. Got some omega-3s to help my heart. And we also have some super awesome amino L-glutamine powder. It's like a vegan protein powder, and it's super good for what the label says. And we have this stuff, which is called Neo Regen, and it's homeopathic, and this stuff is amazing, actually. It tastes so good. Take it every day without fail, 2 teaspoons. And I have one more that's called Cystabil, and I've had that since my mental breakdown. You know, it's good stuff. It's my go-to Reliant. So I'll pause this. I'll make the smoothie after I peel my orange, and I'll be right back. All right. So I finished my smoothie. Oh. And I've taken my supplements. So now let's do a little Hoff. I'll speed it up so you're not going much longer. Maybe talk over it.
most seek validation from family and friends who have no clue about this subject and are therefore in no position to say anything of value, but who will immediately discount it because it sounds too strange to believe, so it is far easier to disbelieve. This kind of person chooses ignorance as their cop-out because ignorance is bliss, whereas knowledge of this nature is unbearable. Others will find an escape by reasoning to themselves that there is nothing they can do about it because they are just too small and powerless to affect a program of global proportions. So they resign themselves behind their political impotence. This kind of person chooses impotence, their insignificance as their cop-out, because to be small and to stay small is safe and is easy, whereas to wield this knowledge imposes heavy responsibilities.
Amen.
And others still find an escape in God, so they abandon themselves in God's hands. In other words, they hide behind religion or spirituality, saying to themselves that God will take care of this, that God takes care of everything, that this is God's domain, not man's. This kind of person chooses faith in God as their cop-out because it is comforting to believe that God will take care of everything. And others still find an escape in authority, reasoning to themselves that those in power must know what they're doing since they have all the facts and are elected leaders who could not commit the genocide because democracy has checks and balances that would prevent such a thing. This kind of person chooses faith in authority as their cop-out because it is comforting to believe that those in power can look out for everyone. The need to believe in something comforting is stronger than the desire for truth, especially if the truth is disquieting. The need to hang on to their old and pleasant worldview is far easier than having to confront a new and frightening worldview. By now, we lost 3/4 of mankind to lack of discernment, fear, stupidity, and emotional weakness with all its cop-outs, ignorance, impotence, faith in God, and faith in authority. But what happens to the quarter, to the 25% of people who make it over these awesome obstacles because they are sufficiently intelligent to understand and sufficiently strong to cope? The vast majority of these will be stopped by the mightiest of all obstacles: self-interest and social conditioning. Those who have careers to protect, wealth to increase, and political interests to advance will either say nothing about this or will milk this knowledge for all it's worth, and will use it to position themselves a rung or two higher on the social scale by taking advantage of this knowledge. They will abandon their consciences and the rest of mankind, including their own children, for personal gain. They choose to sell themselves for profit because they are self-serving. And those who don't like to stick out because they have no leadership material in them and are content with their lives as they are, will keep their heads low and their tails between their legs because they were taught and conditioned to know their place. So, they will abandon their consciences and the rest of mankind, including their own children, just to fit in. They will choose to sell themselves for social acceptance because they are conventional. By now, we have lost 99% of mankind. That is why the depopulation genocide has remained secret for 7 decades as an international system, and for 1,000 years as the holy grail of all organized religions. And why those who are awakened walk through the valley of the shadow of death alone and fear no evil, but know they are surrounded by evil. In this thought of the day, I would like to talk about why you are important. The system of covert depopulation cannot be changed from within because it was created by mutual coercion, mutually agreed upon. Those within the system, the people who run each of the world's 200 nations, force each other to poison their fellow nationals so as to defuse the population bomb and thus prevent war within and between nations. This means that the system can only be changed from outside by you and others like you. The good news is that the current system is premised on secrecy and deception. Having killed the secrecy and the deception, it is now easy to force it to change. For that change to take place, however, we need critical mass. We need about 10% of the population to demand an end to covert methods. And we don't yet have 10%. Or if we do, they are not yet active or as active as they must be. So please, stop pushing single issues, since all these issues are a consequence or a loose end of the global depopulation program. GMOs, chemtrails, 9/11, fluoride, endocrine disruptors, surveillance, police state, war, migration, Fukushima, vaccines, internet freedom, loss of human rights, loss of democracy, loss of the rule of law, corruption, police brutality, etc. If you want to set the world aright, we all need to focus on the heart of the matter. All other issues will then fall away in a domino effect.
Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. I've been describing in my videos that at the center of the earth exists a divine location, a holy crater, into the spiritually advanced civilization known throughout Asia as Shambhala. Similarly, Hebrew legends speak of a place called Luz, which is described as an underground city near a sacred mountain called the Abode of Immortality. This name, Luz, was originally that of the place where Jacob had his dream known as Jacob's Ladder, and which he subsequently called Bethel, or House of God. It's said that the Angel of Death could not enter this city, and wielded no power over it, and by a rather singular and very significant convergence, some located near the mystical High Hara, the Persian analog of Mount Meru, the Axis Mundi, the central pillar. Near Luz, there is purported to be an almond tree, at the base of which is a hollow through which one enters an underground passage which leads to the completely hidden sacred city. There is the Hebrew idea of an indestructible bone found in the spine, to which the soul is linked to until resurrection, and this bone is called Luz. Luz also means kernel, so as the kernel contains the germ, and as the bone contains the marrow, so this Luz contains the elements necessary for the restoration of the being, and this restoration will be effected under the influence of a celestial dew that will revivify the bones. Whether or not this Hebrew idea metaphysically has any true credence, it doesn't matter. The point is, Luz, being imperishable, is the supposed hidden kernel of immortality in the human being, just as the city of the same name is the hidden abode of immortality. Andrew Thomas, author of Shambhala Oasis of Light, writes, "This remarkable kingdom reputedly exists both above and below ground, with a network of tunnels hundreds of miles long. Cars of strange design flash along their length, and they are illuminated by a brilliant light which affords growth to the grains and vegetables and long life without disease to the people." In the years between 1923 and 1928, Nicholas Roerich, a Russian explorer and mystic, led an expedition across the Gobi Desert to the Altai Mountain, a journey which covered 15,500 miles across 35 of the world's highest mountain passes. It's rumored that Roerich may have been on a mission to find and return what was said to be part of the sacred Chintamani stone, which was believed to be fallen from the stars. It's a wish-fulfilling jewel of Tibetan and Hindu lore. For the Hindus, this mystical gem was involved with the myth of Ganesha, the elephant god who is said to grant wishes and remove obstacles. And for the Tibetans, the Chintamani stone was a sacred gem fallen from heaven, kept in the land of Shambhala. The stone is said to possess occult properties, capable of giving telepathic inner guidance and affecting a transformation of consciousness to those in contact with it. In fact, it's theorized that the Philosopher's Stone, the Holy Grail, and the Chintamani Stone are one and the same. And the Holy Grail, as I've explained in various past videos, is an allegory that is directly talking about the Holy Land at the center. The common Tibetan narrative is upon its arrival to Earth, the Chintamani Stone was hidden away in the etheric plane within the ancient city of Shambhala and kept by the king of the world, who is supposedly Shambhala's king. Roerich and Helena Blavatsky maintain that the army of the king of the world is a power emanating from Shambhala that continually raises the frequency of this plane. I'm proposing that this army is not a literal group of beings, but refers to the overall frequencies that emanate from this land, from the center landmass near Mount Meru. According to Theosophy, eventually, this transformative power of the Chintamani stone will destroy all energetic blockages that exist at a lower frequency than itself, while simultaneously accelerating the evolution of all life forms on Earth. Once it's completed its predestined goal, state the Theosophists, a worldwide civilization based upon love and equality will finally emerge. And this idea of a hidden sacred stone is found in the alchemical seal containing the acronym vitriol. This literally breaks down into a Latin phrase which translates as, "Visit the interior of the earth. By rectification thou shalt find the hidden stone." Plus, we see the grail in the center. Is this stone symbolic of the center? And could the fact that the Chintamani stone is depicted as green correspond to the emerald green aurora lights? During Roerich's travels to Tibet, he was told, "Great Shambhala is far beyond the ocean. It is the mighty heavenly domain. Only in some places in the far north can you discern the resplendent rays of Shambhala." The Lama describes it as a far-off valley, hidden in the mists of high mountains, with hot springs and rich vegetation. Which is interesting because in Mercator's depiction of the North Pole's magnetic mountain, it is encased by mountain ranges. Continuing, he goes on to say, "Uncountable are the inhabitants of Shambhala. Numerous are the splendid new forces and achievements which are being prepared there for humanity." This Lama confirmed that messengers from Shambhala are at work in the world, and that even the ruler of this great kingdom sometime appears in a human form. He stressed that the secrets of Shambhala are well guarded, and that it is impossible for anybody to reach this kingdom unless their karma is cleared and if they are called. According to David Pratt in Mysteries of the Inner Earth, Roerich spent a time examining the inner kingdoms, caverns, and empty lava chambers through studying the local folklore and talking to those familiar with the area and these legends. Roerich came to realize that the attributes assigned to the underworld ranged from heavenly to hellish, and its inhabitants from super to subhuman. If we are to look at the central Norse axis and world tree, Yggdrasil, located at the center of the earth, or Midgard as it's called, we find the center connects the Bifrost Rainbow Bridge, which when one travels on, ends up in Asgard, abode of the gods. But, as one must be of pure heart and mind to enter Shambhala, one must pass Heimdall, who judges those before allowing them on the bridge. The 7 other worlds, with their individual mystical attributes, lay on top of one another. Most likely, this range of subterranean beings David Pratt talks about is not talking about the land at the center, but separate subterranean realms which house different types of beings, from elves to giants to reptilians. So these subterranean cities may have nothing to do with the center landmass or vortex, but of course this is just conjecture. The Earth is powered by a life source, giving off electromagnetic energy. This energy, coming from the black sun in the form of the aurora rays, is distributed through the body through the veins, which we call ley lines, giving life to everything. The metaphorical heart, which pumps the blood, is found in the center or navel of the Earth, and this is exactly why the aurora borealis is the same primarily emerald green color as our heart chakra. As within, so without. Home is where the heart is, and I'll keep repeating that. It's important for us to understand that Shambhala is in the heart just as much as it is in the center. So, if the journey to Shambhala were to be undertaken as a purely physical journey, it wouldn't end harmoniously. The Japanese have their own version of Shambhala, which they have named Onagorahima, the island of the congealed drop. It is situated at the center of the Earth. Its first roof pillar was the Earth's axis, and over it was the pivot of the vault of heaven. In Chinese mythology, separate from Buddhist mythology, it's actually described that their idea of Shambhala is at the center of the Earth, directly under Shang Te's heavenly palace, declaring it to be in the pole star. They call it the Palace of the Center. William Warren in Paradise Found writes that Quen Lun is the mound of the terrestrial paradise, quoting, "The four quarters of the Earth incline downwards, which tells us that Shambhala is located either within or beyond a type of crater at the North Pole." After all, the word grail in Holy Grail comes from the word kratalis, meaning crater. This land in the Bhagavad Gita is the blissful land of the sages towards which Arjuna, the warrior prince, traveled in search of enlightenment. It's said that magic fruit trees yielded the nectar of immortality. It is one of the four regions surrounding Mount Meru, and it is the homeland of the Siddhas, enlightened yogis famed for their miraculous powers. Miguel Serrano echoes this, saying, "In this interior earth are the cities of Agarthu, Shambhala, and the Caesars, inhabited by the immortal Siddhas. There, the Golden Age still exists." It's interesting to note that in one issue of The Theosophist, Helena Blavatsky suggested that explorers may have been prevented from penetrating further north. Obviously, she attributes this to the northern polar region that is being concealed, but not by military or government groups, but by spiritual forces that wouldn't allow Shambhala to be reached. Thus, to reach our original homeland, we must reorient our lives and develop ourselves, experiencing constant unraveling and ascension through unifying intentions, meditative practices, and clearing karma. To find Shambhala, we need not just knowledge of our physical universe, of the exoteric, but also a map of our inner sanctuary as well, the esoteric. In Plato's Phaedo, Socrates describes a different earth, a place of brighter and clearer colors, a fair region in which everything grows more beautifully than any here. It's a land of smoother, more transparent stones, of abundant jaspers, emeralds, and other jewels uncorrupted by the corrosions of our world. There is no disease there, and the people live much longer than we do, and have sight, hearing, and all other senses in greatest perfection. And I quote, "They have temples and sacred places in which the gods really dwell, and they hear their voices and receive their answers. There is a chasm, which is the vastest of them all, and pierces right through the whole earth. The ether is to them what the air is to us." And this leads to the idea that Shambhala harmonizes at a different frequency, closer to the depths of the etheric realm, and therefore closer to a world of more instant manifestation. According to French scholar Henry Corbin, in his book The Man of Light in Iranian Sufism, one of the major themes in Sufi literature is the quest for the Orient. This supersensory mystical Orient, the place of the origin and of the return, object of the eternal quest, is at the heavenly pole. It is the pole at the extreme north, so far off that it is the threshold of the dimension beyond. Only an ascensional progress can lead toward this cosmic north chosen as a point of orientation. As his spiritual body evolves, the Sufi feels as if he is rising up from within a well, and nearing its mouth, he gradually perceives the emerald light of the heavenly earth, the 8th climb in the cosmic north, said to be halfway between heaven and our physical earth. This corresponds to the diagrams given in Na's Book of the Resurrection, that the North Pole microcosmically is located by our 8th chakra, a void, a black hole into new realms. When we finally raise our awareness and ability to be sovereign in our lives to the utmost extent, we climb up Jacob's ladder. The journey to Shambhala begins, and upon literally landing on the center landmass, the 8th chakra gets closer and closer to the black sun, where if we choose, can exit this entire matrix. I hope all of you are staying well and balanced. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I love you all.
Cancer and it costs a lot of people their lives. Do y'all know about Bohemian Grove? How the world leaders sacrificing children in robes? Lucifer is God in the public school system. I suggest you open up your ears and you listen.
It's like we all know what's going down, but no one's saying shit what happened to the home of the brave. These motherfuckers, they controlling us now, and no one's talking about how they made us fight and they slaves. And everybody's just walking around, head in the clouds and won't awaken to a dead in the grave. By then it's too late, we need to be ready to raise up. Welcome to the end of days.
The greatest hypnotist on planet Earth is a oblong box in the corner of the room. It is constantly telling us what to believe is real.
If you can persuade them that what they see with their eyes is what there is to see, you got them. Because they'll laugh in the face of an explanation that portrays the bigger picture of what's happening. And they have.
In the science of my rhyming triplets. When I'm writing lyrics, I'm inscribing them in hieroglyphics. I fly with spirits and defy the limits. I was blind to higher mind, but now I and I have the sight of mystics. I'm predicted from times of old by my own code, cause in 2012 tech excelled and my rhymes evolved. Enlightened souls, arriving when the cycle shows. Combined alliance in defiance till the lies exposed. Find the righteous road, path of salvation. Master builders past the skill to start the foundation. And we grafting so hard that we groundbreaking. Every bar of ours is classed a profound statement. Our sounds changing, the dynamics with cymatics. And mind magic when I align with the 9 planets. I might be guided by the white rabbits, but blind panic strike masses when I'm reciting the time lapses. I find balance, holding out in meditation. On holy ground till my soul is bound for elevation. I hold it down for preparation. Focus now, I show the crowds how I open crowns like trepanation. Found in revelations, heard in the first chapters. When I rehearse, a surge of burst through the earth chakras. I'm returning to the surface when I've learned mantras. Say the same words in my verses when reversed backwards. My thoughts are sworn forces of action. I'm a sorcerer exploring the cause and laws of attraction. I board a saucer at the source of extraction. Abducting alien life forms in a war for expansion. You're in the sanctum is a site for the sacredness. Alive in the matrix is a psychic dictatorship, and our minds are enslaved to it. Inside those compounds, time froze when I broke the light cold lockdowns.
Our flows are those from quantum rifts.
Bars hold the star codes to consciousness.
Cosmic shifts.
Auras form round them. The coming of the 144,000.
Our flows are those from quantum rifts.
Bars hold the star codes to consciousness.
Cosmic shifts.
Auras form round them. The coming of the 144,000.
Yo, I'm more than Mr. I was born from all things beneath this sky. I am life, love, and within it I seek to shine. As above, so below, through the sands of time. I'm a window, an intro into the past. Some info for kinfolk with open hearts. In this cipher, I decipher some ancient crafts. We're binding together in a circle cast. So I'm asking men to depart from REM. Awake to a state that the stars transcend. You don't need cars, my friend, to travel. Your mind's designed to ride inside the astral. Forget your 9 to 5 rate machines and cattle. We're light beams like light streams in quasar battles. My mental's deep like Egyptian priests in temple sleep. My mind's eye peace where Pythagoras leaps. My birthright is not of this earth like the first Pharisees that govern and serve life. Nubian masters that loved and preserved life. Performing feats of magic, electromagnetic, kinetic, hermetic aesthetics. Sourcing the forces of invisible forces. Great men more ancient than amen. I'm taking the cavemen out there in bonny playpens to raise and replace them in relation to subatomic harmonic vibrations. So they're moving like comets with optics like radons.
Moving like comets with optics like radons.
Our flows are those from quantum rifts.
Bars hold the star codes to consciousness.
Cosmic shifts.
Auras form round them. The coming of the 144,000.
Our flows are those from quantum rifts.
Bars hold the star codes to consciousness.
Cosmic shifts.
Auras form